Good morning, and welcome back to Jody Lewis Creations. In today's video, we are going to make a little, I don't know what it's called, but it's from Cori. She had it back. It was day 3 of hashtag Christmas Craft Off 24. She called it Fabric Pockets and Hidden Gifts. And I just thought it was a really interactive piece. And as we all know, I really like interactive pieces. Yesterday, I tried to make this with 2 different styles, and I just was like, oh, I don't love it. So I decided to put it aside, and I'm starting over today. I thought, well, maybe if I make it with paper that I absolutely love, it'll be better. And part of my problem is that I am just really having difficulty mentally and emotionally with all this RV stuff. So I had told you in Monday's video that they were supposed to get it hauled down here. And well, she called, and so we got all excited, and we thought that she was calling to tell us it was on its way. And no, she was calling to tell us it was going to be another month before they could get it down here. So I'm very limited on what I can actually say about the situation due to the nature of everything that's going on with this. But I don't know. It's just really a difficult thing. Anyway, so it's taking a toll on us. It really is. So please bear with me as I am really sporadic with my creativity right now. It's very hard for me. I come in here, I sit down, I look at my stuff, and I just look at it. I just look at it because I can't do anything. I had a note in my calendar to make this because I have a couple of friends with some birthdays coming up, and I just wanted to make this. I thought it would be something kind of cute and fun to make for them. So we're going to try again today. This will be my 3rd attempt to make one. So it's a very interactive piece, and I have a very rough prototype here because I wanted to have my instructions written in a way that I would understand it. I took a 12 by 12 and I've cut it down to 8.5 by 11. I have scored it and folded it the long way. And then I have to remember how I want to do this. Okay, so she says come in about 1.5 inches from this side, and you're only 1.5. How about pay attention? And you're only going to score to that center line. I'm going to come on over and do another 1/8 of an inch and another 1/8 of an inch just to kind of give that some room to like fold over. And what did I do with that? Here, I'll kind of show you. This was one of them I'd started to make, and I may finish it. I don't know, but it's going to look something like this when we're done. So it opens, you've got a flap here. That's going to actually be a pocket. There's going to be a lot more added to this. And so you guys know I kind of hoard my Timmy paper. And I thought, well, why not just use the Timmy paper because you love to work with it, Jody, and that will make you happy. So this one I'm scoring all the way down. Cori didn't exactly say that in her instructions, but I'm scoring that all the way down. I'm flipping this way. I'm coming into the 2-inch mark and scoring only to the center. And I know this is probably very difficult for you to see. So 8.5 by 11, fold it long way. Lay it on your scoreboard or use your ruler and fold with your ruler. From the left side, come in 4 1/4. From the right side, come in 1.5 inches, then 1/8, then 1/8. Okay? Flip this, keeping the left to the left, the right to the right, come in 2 inches and score only to the center line. Okay? So I think that's it for the scoring. So then I can put this away and get it out of the way. Now you're going to need some scissors or your knife and ruler, preferably having a steady hand. And this paper is so busy, it's actually very difficult to see. So on the score line at the 4 1/4, I'm only going to cut to that cross section. On this side, I'm cutting to the 2-inch line. Okay, now we fold this in half this way. Yep, this is going to fold in. It's going to make a little pocket, and my C is upside down. I can't help that. It does help if you can fold in a straight line. We know I cannot cut in a straight line. Apparently, I cannot fold in a straight line. And then this 1.5 inch one, we're going to fold in as well. Okay, so these both fold the same way. Now I am going to work on these 3 little score marks because I just want it to be almost like a curved top here. So I'm just working it, just softening that up a little bit. Okay. And before I forget, I'm just going to take my corner chomper. I'm going to use the 1/4-inch bit and cut that. Now, this is the Tim Holtz paper, and we all know that one of the problems with these 12 by 12 paper pads was the glue issue at the top and how it like can damage the paper. So that does have a little bit of damage. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to ink over it. Hopefully we will never see it. Okay, so we have, this is going to be a pocket. This is going to be a flap. This looks really busy now that I have folded it, and that was part of the problem I was having yesterday with the papers I had chosen. That's okay. So this one's going to fold in, and then it's going to be like closure like this. So I could do it this way, and then all my words are the right way, and then I feel all better about it. So you can do it either way. It doesn't really matter. You can finesse this so that it falls. You can have it go either way. The direction really doesn't matter. Just pay attention to the direction of your paper, because then if you are using something directional, it is going to matter. For example, this one that I did yesterday, I was trying to make it the way Cori said, but then all my flowers are upside down. So I just flipped it over, and look, problem solved. My flowers are not upside down anymore. If you use non-directional paper, then you can have your flap on whichever side you want. And we all know that I tend to just do whatever anyway. And I twist and tweak things around. So we're just going to go with it. So I'm just trimming that score edge off there because it wasn't looking very nice. And it's just a little, you can cut that out. It's not a big deal. Trying to make sure I'm lined up here as best as I can. This cut looks pretty straight. I did okay on that one. Look at me go. So then I'm just going to ink around all of these edges because I think, gosh, for me, inking it is going to help. And like, it looks like that's a little wonky, and maybe I did cut it wonky, so maybe I need to clean that up. But I think by the time we're done decorating it, it's not really going to matter. But see, on this end, you can see it's not exactly lined up, but when we ink it, it's going to be fine. I need to stop stressing. Okay, so I'm going to ink all around this. I need to figure out what I'm going to use for the next bits, and I will come back. I'm inking this, and I was thinking about what I said about it being this way. And that's not going to work because my opening is at the bottom. So it has to be this way, which means I just have to deal with my words being upside down, which here it's not. Here it's fine. It's really just this C here. So we can decorate that. It's going to be fine. I'm not going to worry about it that much, but do know that your opening has to be to the top. So maybe when you have it folded in half like this, just kind of pull your edge back and say, okay, what's this going to be? Just think about the direction of your stuff. You know what I mean? It makes sense in my head. If it doesn't make sense to you, I'm really sorry, but I'm making it. So hopefully by the time we're done with this, it'll be fine. And maybe I will start another one and see if it makes more sense. I don't know. Bear with me here. Okay. I have notes all over this. Okay. So one thing I did note was like, eventually this is going to get glued. Don't glue this until you're completely done with all your other little bits, because one thing I found when I was messing with this and trying to put it together, I was like, oh, it really matters which way it goes. So just be mindful of that and don't glue anything. I have here some tracing paper. I just ran down yesterday, and whatever was left in the coffee pot I used. And so I think I am going to use just the width of this, and I'm just going to cut off, Cori said about, am I on? Yeah. Am I on? Yeah, solid green. We're good. Man, when I forget to turn this thing on, like that day I had to do that voiceover, I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Oh, 2 3/4. So she said 2 3/4 on this piece. You can do whatever size works for you. It's just what I'm doing. And I love it. The tracing paper is so much fun. Okay, so this flap is up and over. Okay, so fold that in and you can paper clip it so it stays out of your way. And we are going to make a fun little piece here. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I just want to make sure I'm not folding where it's down below. And you could score this. Did I ink that? I did not. That would help me if I ink that fold. I can see it better. And I'm not being super careful with my ink today because I don't care. Guys, the struggle is real. I mean, I'm telling you, like, oh, it keeps snowing. It's so cold. You can't even go outside. It is so crazy. And my face is still peeling from the sunburn that I got when we were on our trip. Like, this is not right. How come I have a sunburn that's peeling and I can't even go outside and play? Oh, it's okay. Mark and I have been trying to figure out how we can play pickleball in the house, but I don't think we can because I have too many precious glass antique pieces and stuff that I'm like, man, if we do something like that, we're going to break something. I'll be really upset. Okay, I think I need to bring that bottom fold up just a smidge more and really just kind of folding this in kind of like a ziggy-zag. Okay, and then this side, hopefully that's going to be strong enough for a pocket. I may stabilize that with something, but then you can kind of see through. And then, like, what is that, plain? This side can be a pocket. This is going to be a pocket, but this is going to be a little flippy uppy thingy that we can maybe put something here. I'm not doing it exactly like Cori did hers because that's not really how I do things, but I think it's going to be fun. And because this is coffee dyed, I did not iron it. This is kind of like all scrunched up and wrinkly. But anyway, okay. So I'm going to, I was thinking about stitching, but if I stitch this, I don't think it's going to, I'm just going to paper clip that for right now. Oh my gosh, you guys know how much I love working with paper clips, right? Okay, so there's that. Now this flap here, we need a piece to attach here. And I want to see, where's my Timmy bin? I don't think I have, ooh, what is on that? I have some vellum in my Timmy bin, but I don't know if I want to use any of these particular, oh, are there any? My problem with this is the way the designs are on this. I do have some, oh, now that could be, what is that bird measure? Chloe is totally sitting in my chair over here. She is, okay, so that's too wide to use that bird. But if I come in like there, that would leave me the feathers we could use for something. It's not tall enough. Dagnabbit. Oh, now these are coming out easily. I don't want these out. Oh, I love him. He makes me happy. I love this guy. So if I go, okay, we're just going to use this piece. It's one of my favorite pieces. Ooh, that could work too. Make a decision, Jody. I know. I know. Okay, so I'm going to cut this apart. And I know if I cut my height there, that leaves this ticket vellum piece. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this. And look at this perfect little ticket here. I realized my 5 cut off, but I'm not worried about that. Not worried about it. I mean, I giggled with delight, which felt really good when I was doing this. So yeah, I'm going to ink around. I'm thinking about what I want to do. I'm kind of changing what Cori did. So Cori's piece that she did here was the 4 1/4 tall by like 8 and 8 and a half or so, because she left 1/4 of an inch overlap for hinging her pocket. I'm going to link her video below because she's, I mean, she is a teacher, so she is really good at describing it. And so but it was for a giveaway that she was making it. So just know that that giveaway is like done, gone. That was done at Christmas. So just know that. I am going to, oh my gosh, why do I keep doing that today? Yuck. I am going to fold this in half. And the thing with vellum is it will crack when you fold it. So I'm just gently folding it. I'm not worried about that being like a perfect fold. And here's where I'm going to switch it up, because I was really struggling with cutting into that other 6-inch piece of vellum to extend this. And because the vellum does want to break when you fold it, I am going to just put a little hinge in here out of a scrap. So like, why not just use this as a scrap, right? So I can stitch that in there and make that a hinge. Yeah. So if I wanted to cut this at, I don't know, 4 1/4, but I need some of the strip for something else too. So am I doing that right? Who knows? Nope. I have a love-hate relationship with this trimmer, because now that edge is wonky and that's wasting my Timmy paper. Timmy, your trimmer. It's probably operator error. I'm not blaming Tim before everybody gets all mad at me for blaming Tim. I'll use my other trimmer to cut this down. I think I want to cut it like, well, what does it measure? I mean, that's fine. If I just score that at a 1/2 inch. Yeah, let's just score that. Not cut it, score it. I'm just winging it, you guys, so hopefully you can understand this. And so don't score your paper super hard because you'll break it. So I went over that twice, but I wasn't pushing on my score blade very hard because I don't want it broken. So do be mindful of that. Now I can do one of two things. I could just sew this on top, and then that's not inside my hinge, so whatever we put in this pocket isn't going to get caught. You can just glue it too. The thing with vellum is that it shows glue, which drives me crazy. So this is going to go on as, okay, so this is what I want to have showing. Not that it matters, because honestly it's going to be getting put in a pocket. And then, but I don't want to cover him, so that matters which side I put that on. And maybe I need to use a lighter piece of paper for that hinge, but I want it to be sturdy and be able to, yeah. Oh, I like that. And then he's a world traveler. He's going around the world. Oh, I could do it this way. I could put that on that fold. And then I'm not covering him when I stitch, and I'm not covering that flower when I stitch. Yeah. Okay. And I think I'm going to cut this down a little bit smaller. Is that even cut straight? Okay, so I've sewn around this, and I have a heavier duty needle in my machine, so it does like leave bigger holes. I don't have just like the standard needle. I don't really know why I changed that out. Why did I change that out? It doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. But anyway, so I just take my bone folder over it, press the little holy things down, and ink around it. It's totally fine. I'm using scorched timber because I love my scorched timber. And you know what I forgot to do is notch out my little pocket. So because this is vellum, my hole punch is going to act goofy when I try to notch this. So I'm going to just fold this piece of paper. It's just a scrap piece of 20-pound paper from making this yesterday. I'm going to put this on the back side and pray like crazy that this works and doesn't damage my vellum. And I only want just a small little notch. I just want it to be like, hey, I do something. I'm interactive. Oh, it worked. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then, did I do that wrong? Oh no. It's okay. Whatever. I'm just going to glue. I did it backwards. I did it on the wrong side. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Because I kind of like seeing that. And it's fine. It's my prototype, right? I don't like seeing that. I have just like the tiniest little bit of vellum that's hanging over right there, and I don't like seeing that. So I'm just cleaning it up, and it is just the tiniest little bit. Was probably not even worth that because nobody's going to see it, but I will. And I think on this corner, I just want to take that, just that little off. Just clean that corner up, just a smidgen, just to not make it so sharp. Yeah, okay. Okay, so then this is going to go here. And do I want to stitch that down or glue it down? I think I'm going to glue it down, but I'm going to glue it down. Yeah. And then my clip, so it's going to have to dry. So I'm just going to use my Barely Art glue and run a bead down this piece here. I did use that hinge backwards because I didn't want to see the map on that, but it's okay. We'll put a pocket or something over it. It's going to be completely fine. So let's just, I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to clip it, let it dry. So when you're clipping this, like pick your piece up and make sure that your edges are matched up. Oh my gosh. So match your edges up and just make sure that it's where you want it. Okay. So when it opens up, but when it's closed, you don't want that to be like, well, maybe you do. I don't want that to be super crazy and not lined up because I can do some things wonky, but edges not lining up is not one of those things that I can do. So I'm going to let that dry. I've got to decide what I'm going to do with this, and we have to work on what we're going to do over here. Okay. Okay, so I pulled out my bag of Timmy scraps, and you guys know I hoard my Tim Holtz paper. Just don't use it. But I find that when I use it in a project, like if I'm making a prototype, I really enjoy the project. It's a way for me to use the paper and enjoy it because I'm making a prototype. So it's something that's for me. Like I will keep this with it because this tells me how to build it. But is this fun for me? No. Is this fun for me? Yes. So if you have paper that you like absolutely love and you're like, man, I just want to hoard that because we can't get it anymore. Timmy Tim, please release the papers again, but fix the glue issue, please. This is a great way to use it and enjoy it rather than it taking up space on your shelf. And you guys know one of the things I'm trying to do this year is use the things. So in my scraps, I have like, these are offcuts from when I made those ephemera holders like forever ago. So I cut this down to, this flap is like 4 1/8, and this flap is like 3/8 of an inch longer, so 4 1/2. I had cut this at 4 1/4, but I didn't feel like this flap was going to be long enough, so I've scored this, okay? And what I'm going to do now, which I should have done before I came back on filming, Mark is so cute. He wanted some fruit, so we went to the store. Went to the better grocery store to get some fruit, which was really nice. And he came home and he got these like raspberry Danish things. They look so good. Raspberry donut things. He said he got a discount on them because one was missing. I said, or you ate it on the way home. He's like, I did. I couldn't help myself. They just looked so good. And I'm not a big sweets person, and they looked really good to me too. Okay, so this is going to dry. I'm setting this aside to dry. I should have done that before I came back on. Then I have this scrap, which is, because this flap says Western and Central Europe, this was a scrap that was in my bag, and I've cut it down, and it's got Europe here. I mean, we've got Russia here. I don't care about that. But I like the colors, and since we have the matte base, I thought that would be kind of a fun flap. And we're going to put a pocket on here of some sort. So what we want to make sure is when we have this, it's not going to come over into our fold. So make sure you're making your little flap shorter, or yeah, your extra piece here smaller so it's not over in your fold. Now I like this edge with the degrees on it, so I'm thinking maybe I want it like this, and then that blue is what's showing there. So let's so I'm going to, what size is this? I don't even know. I cut it at 4.5. I'm going to flip this upside down, and I'm going to just score this at like 4 3/8 and just fold it. Yes, I know. I did that backwards because valleys make mountains, but today valleys make valleys. So, okay. So then what is going to happen, and part of the reason you're not gluing anything down first, is these two flaps have to get glued under here. So this will be like this, and then this one will be like this. So then you've got two more pieces that you can embellish. But I have to let my glue dry because this is going to actually get cut into a tag shape. So I'll be back. Okay, so tag shape. And I think I want to stitch around this piece. I did put black thread in my machine because I haven't gotten to Joann to get brown, and now they're going out of business. So the one that's in Cleveland by the Costco that we go to, it is on the list for the chopping block. I'm so sad. And then the one in Erie is not right now, but the one in Meadville is. So I don't know. I find it odd that that one in but I've been to the one in Meadville. I guess it's a little bit of a smaller store, but that makes me so sad. The one by Costco, I really like that one. It's just a nice one, and like they have like the Posca pen display behind the register. And not that I buy the Posca pens because I do have the Arteza set of markers, but still, I'm like, no closing. Right. So I am going to run stitching around this piece, and I need to decide. I'm at the point now where I need to start deciding how I'm going to be decorating these pieces because I need to start gluing some stuff down. And I feel like, no, I have to get through the basics of the construction for you. Okay. So I'm going to stitch around these. So these little flappies are going to get glued to the back side of this small flap here. So I can take this off now. This will open up, right? And so, because we haven't glued it all together. So the flap will tuck under like this. Then this flap is going to tuck over like this. And I may shorten that just a little bit because I don't want that to be too bound in this fold. Oh my gosh, I had to find my words. I'm so sorry. So then what's going to happen is once these are in here, we're going to glue this pocket down. So that's going to be a pocket, and we'll notch this. So, but I'm trying to decide. So Cori did a cute little like 3/4 inch strip and made a little pocket out of it. Because this is upside down, that's super annoying to me. I don't like it. So I think I'm going to cut this where my numbers still show. So even if I could just go 1.25 inches, and I want this tape edge. So let's cut this at 1.25 inches. And this is personal preference. Really, the decoration, all of the decoration is personal preference. You could mix these flaps around. You can put things as top flaps, bottom. Well, you can't really do bottom flaps because that's where the fold is. But well, you could, and I will tell you how you could. Hang on. As I said that, I was like, wait a minute, Jody, that is not accurate. You actually really could. So these are going to be side flaps off this one, right? This is going to get glued on here. It's going to be a little pocket. Yes, it's too tall. I still have to cut it. But we're going to put a pocket here. So actually, if I wanted to, I could do something like this and have a flap there as well. I mean, you can make these as interactive as you want. And maybe you're like, well, I want more flaps than that. Then make more flaps than that. You could even add another flap like to the edge here. So this is a pocket. This could flip out. You could have this piece as a pocket. I have a little offcut here. And look, travel, traveler. Look at that. That would make a cute little pocket on there. You could do so much with these. And if you are trying to make them for a person, excuse me, you know, that really likes interactive pieces, your options are endless. So, like, I could even have, oh my gosh, that would make like the cutest little flap. I think I'm going to do that because I just think that would make the cutest little flappy flap right there. Okay. I'm going to keep working on this, decide what I want to have stitched on here, decide if I want to put any laces or trims on here. And again, Cori's is totally different. So when she introduced her video, she showed you one that's all decorated. Then she has her basic prototype, which is far nicer than mine. And then she walks you through how to make one, which she was making with Christmas papers. So I do recommend going to the teacher to be taught how to make this. But I am working my way through this to add options and things because of what I am trying to make. So I'll be back. I've been fiddling with this for a really long time, trying to figure out if I wanted this flap here or not. And I decided just go with it the way Cori did it. I'm still going to add some things that are my own flair to it, you know. But I wanted to also say that make sure if you're using cardstock like I am, it's a thicker paper. So it's going to give you a different, it's going to behave differently than say if you're just using like a digital. And so what I have going on here is I had glued it and then realized I had not left enough of a gap here for this to actually come over this piece without an issue. So I pulled it up, and of course it was glued and partially dry, so it tore my paper, and we all know how that goes. So I wanted to point out to you, in case you're making one of these, like, do be mindful of that gap. So you can see this, gosh, maybe you can't see. Okay, so on the taggy flap, you can see there's a little bit of a gap, like maybe a 1/16 of an inch. And then on this one, there's a little bit more of a gap. So almost 1/8 of an inch, because this flap has to have room to come over these two pieces. So I hope that makes sense. And then we still have, you know, we're still good here as far as all of this goes, right? And I'm still in my mind thinking about a closure. I think Cori used Velcro. I was thinking maybe a little magnet, or you could even do like a grommet and twine around it, like your closure, or you could just tie something around it if you wanted to. You just have so many options. That's really personal preference when you make something, but I seldom use magnets. I forget that I even have them, so I don't use them. And then I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I should use it. I'm not done embellishing. I was working on it. I will tell you that tracing paper with the tear ruler, not my friend. Oh my gosh, I tore it. I made such a mess. It didn't want to tear. I think I would use maybe parchment paper or even lightweight coffee dyed paper. I did want to be able to see through this, but the tear ruler, I made a ginormous mess. I mean, it's torn here, it tore here. So if you've not done tracing paper, like I haven't worked with tracing paper very much, I just realized it's like, yeah, the tear ruler. And I thought, well, maybe it was a glass mat. So I put it on the green mat and it still didn't tear. Okay, back to figuring out what I'm doing. Okay, you don't want to know how much later it is. And I've been working at this for a really long time, but I really am enjoying it. So I wanted to come back because I think I'm at the point now where I can show you gluing the back together or gluing the rest of it. So we have our flaps here, okay? And this is like buckled because I used the glue stick, and you know how paper does when it gets wet, right? So I want to go ahead and glue this pocket down. And remember, glue your flap, because if you glue this, then you are most likely going to be having too much glue on your flap and trying to clean it up. And if you're like me, it's going to smear everywhere, yada, 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 right? So just do yourself a favor and glue the flap. Okay, so now we have we have our front and our back, right? So now it's like this. This is our front and back, okay? So now we have this piece. So this center flap here, okay? So the piece that our hinges are attached to, we are going to run a bead of glue along the both sides of this, okay? And on this side, I want to make sure I have good adherence because that's pretty bulky right there. Okay, so I'm folding that up, hoping that I don't have a gluey mess now when I open this up. I don't want it seeping out my edges, but I really want to make sure I'm burnishing that well. This is, again, this is cardstock. So if you're doing this with a digital, like 32-pound paper, you're 20, 30, whatever. I don't know that I wouldn't do this with 20-pound paper. Just based on this, it does not feel sturdy enough. I suppose I think I'm going to make one like with music paper as my base, but knowing that I'm going to have to stabilize a lot because the music paper is not, I have to look at the different kinds that I have. I wouldn't use a brittle paper for this because all of your folds and cracks are going to break. All of your folds and stuff are going to crack and break. I should rephrase that. I would just say use a better quality paper for this as your base, and then you can embellish it however you want. Now, this is my spin. Cori didn't do this, but I just added some writing space there. I could put something else here. I'm not that far yet. I'm not as far as doing my closure on it. I don't know what I want to do, and I don't know that I want to make that decision right now. I need to go down and make some lunch and stuff. So I'm thinking, like, I have a journaling card here, and this is a pack of Tim Holtz journaling cards. I've had them forever. I don't ever use them. And I thought, well, pull them out and use them. It's a little too short. I didn't put any glue in the bottom of that, and I actually meant to push that up some. But I'll put a whale tail on here or something. Let's just do that. But you just have this. I really like this design. So I want to say, like, thank you to Cori for making the video. And ooh, this looks like graph paper. I feel like that works if I can get a hold of it. I do want to say thank you to Cori because I did just watch the video again yesterday, and I spent quite a bit of time making and taking notes and everything. And I just think this is such a versatile piece. And the thing about taking inspiration from another creator is you have the freedom to make what you want. I mean, I'm totally putting my own spin on this because that's kind of what I do. You can follow the instructions step by step. Her design is gorgeous. I would really like to slow down at the beginning of the video and watch her flip through again of the one that she has embellished because she's so good at like clusters and stuff like that. I'm not. I am doing what I think I can manage. Oh my gosh. I did not see that until I went to glue that on, and that is absolutely crooked. I will never mentally be able to handle those lines being that crooked. So my friend and I were just talking about like collaging and things not being straight, and she struggles with collage because she doesn't like things that aren't straight. And I can tell you right now that graph paper not being straight was not going to work for me. Absolutely not going to work. No, no. Okay, I just have this ephemera holder. A friend of mine made this for me, and she had sent me some whale tabs, and then periodically I will cut some and put more in here. Oh, I like this one. It's just a great way to have a stash of them, and it's a great way to use your scraps. What I am finding with quite a few of them that are in there is that the colors are not colors that I tend to work with. So maybe the next time I am making paper out of my scraps, like I haven't done any since I used those orange scraps to die cut and stuff, so maybe I need to throw some of those on the table when I'm spraying and inking and stuff to give them a little bit of a different feel, because I just don't work with super bright bold colors very much. Although I will say I'm still contemplating starting an art journal, so maybe if I do and I use that quilt square to make an art journal, I need to find the quilt square so I can show you guys. But maybe if I do end up doing that, it could be a place to use some of these things for sure. Okay, I'm going to ink around this, and then I want to just kind of recap what's left to do. I'm not done decorating this, and I want to do some more stitching. I could like go forever on making something like this. I do love this. And what a great way to use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Now that, you guys are going to laugh at me. I don't like that because it's not here. This needs to be a wider piece where I can put the tab on the edge. Okay, well, clearly I still have a long way to go to finish it, but get your stuff out and play and just enjoy. And if you do decide to make one of these, please post pictures in the Facebook group, because I would love to see what you're working. I love seeing what you're working on. Like, I'm having so much fun with the ABC JLC challenge and seeing the makes. I am loving that people are sharing the full deck challenge makes in the group. That's a lot of fun for me. I just really enjoy seeing other people's creations, and not just links to videos. Like, I appreciate the people who are actually posting pictures of your makes, because sometimes we just want to scroll through and see some photo inspiration, and maybe you're doing something, or you're in the car, or you're waiting on an appointment and you can't listen to a video, but we all scroll. So those are things to think about. Okay, I need to continue to embellish this. I don't like the tracing paper. I can see my glue. I did stabilize this edge. I don't like that I can see my glue. I'm not stitching around this because that would be stitching around the front, and I cannot stitch this piece down. So do I love this tracing paper piece? No. Would I like it better if I had made it out of even coffee dyed paper? Yes. Vellum, possibly, if the vellum had a design, because the glue is showing through, and I don't like that. So those are some thoughts I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video here for now, unless I make another base and come back. But I don't know if, oh, you know what I could do for a closure? You could just even do like a circle there and pop that in. So like if you collage on this and left like a little circle, only glued like half of the, like just pretend, you could pop this under there, and that would be a closure idea as well. Then you wouldn't have to worry about a magnet or a grommet and string, and maybe I'll do something like that. I don't know. I'm not there yet. So we're going to call this part 1. Okay. So I will see you in part 2 when I do a little bit more work. I've got to go down and figure out some food and stuff, and I need to walk away from this. I mean, I've literally been at this for hours because I can't make a decision today. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.